Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In life, obviously, we learn a lot of things, and one of them that should be something that sticks with us is always listen to the source. When someone tells you someone said something, no, listen to the source. Because the intermediaries, they say, hey, you know what, he said this, I'm telling you what he said, and no, I want to hear the source. I want to hear the source, what they say. In life, in family, family, work, wherever, including the mass media. Don't let those weasels over there tell you, actually, put in this, put in that, put in this, put in that. No, what exactly he said? Tell me that, and then you can comment on that. But I would like to hear what he said, and then I can, listen how you weasel it out, how you turn it, twist it, package it, and throw it back to me, so I'm going to just swallow it like that. So let's see. I have an article here from Associated Press, and this is from that meeting that occurs in Vladivostok, and where Putin spoke, and he said many things. That's very interesting. His speech is very interesting, and these are just parts of his speech that had really meaning, or at least he just tells their side of the story. When they say unprovoked war on Ukraine, you can listen to their arguments. Now you can dismiss their arguments, but at least they can tell you, well, it's not unprovoked because we considered being provoked because of this or that. So let's go and see what's going on. The title of this article is Putin mocks West, says Russia will press on in Ukraine. It's not really, I looked over to see what's going on. I don't think he mocks, but they try to delegitimize his authority or, importance by, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just, blowing hot air here. So Russian President Vladimir Putin said Wednesday that Moscow will press on with its military action in Ukraine until reaching its goals, and mocked Western attempts to drive Russia into a corner with sanctions. Well, it's a reality, okay? Putin told at an annual economic forum in Far East port city of Vladivostok that the main goal behind sending troops into Ukraine was protecting civilians in the east of that country after 8 years of fighting. You can say what's a fact and what's not a fact, okay? Just look at this statement and check and see. Was it true or is it not true? Don't look at CNN, don't look at me, look and check. Do a lot of searches and find out, is it true or not? And I'm quoting, "It wasn't us who started the military action. We are trying to put an end to it," Putin said, reaffirming his argument that he sent troops into Ukraine to protect Moscow-backed separatist regions in Ukraine, which have fought Ukrainian forces in a conflict that erupted in 2014 following Russia's annexation of Crimea. Well, that's false. Because, you see, it's false. It's not, it's Moscow-backed separatists. Those are Russian people living in Ukraine because, remember Stalin. So again, do a little search and find out. This is whistling. It did not spark the whole thing with Crimea, and Crimea did not spark its whatever happened over there by itself. It sparked with, you have to go to February 2014, and then Crimea, and then these guys, okay? So this guy is not keeping a chronology. This guy who wrote this article, Vladimir Isachenko, he's a Russian, Isaac, all right, nevertheless, or Isaac. He is, he's picking and choosing. He starts his history because of Crimea. No, and Crimea, why Crimea? Because they were just crazy? No, it's because the overthrow of a legitimate government by the Western countries with the help of the inside collaborators, which are called traitors. That's the definition of a person who does such a thing. Overthrows a legitimate, democratically elected government with the help of other countries. That's called a traitor. I mean, look at the dictionary. It's not me saying that. I'm saying that, but I'm based on that. Okay, so I'm quoting again. All our actions have been aimed at helping people living in the Donbass. It's our duty, and we will fulfill it until the end. So he's not going to lose atomic bombs if you push them back. Putin charged that Russia has strengthened its sovereignty in the face of Western sanctions, which he said bordered on an aggression. And I'm quoting, "Russia has resisted the economic, financial and technological aggression of the West," Putin said. "I'm sure that we haven't lost anything and we won't lose anything. The most important gain is the strengthening of our sovereignty. It's an inevitable result of what's going on." The Russian leader said that the economic and financial situation in Russia has stabilized. Consumer prices, inflation has slowed down, and unemployment has remained low. There has been a certain polarization in the world and inside the country, but I view it as a positive thing. Everything unnecessarily harmful, everything that has prevented us from going forward will be rejected, and we will gain development tempo, because development can only be based on sovereignty. Putin emphasized that Russia will keep protecting its sovereignty in the face of what he described as an attempt by US and its allies to preserve their global domination, saying that the world mustn't be fooled on the founded on the diktat of one country that deemed itself the representative of the Almighty, or even higher than based its policies on its perceived exclusivity. He scoffed at Western attempts to cap prices for Russian oil and gas, calling the idea stupid and saying that Russia will have enough customers in Asia. The demand is so high on global markets, then we won't have any problem selling it. He said, "An attempt," and I'm quoting, "an attempt to limit prices by administrative means is just raving. It's sheer nonsense," Putin added. It will only lead to a hike in prices." He rejected the EU's argument that Russia was using energy as a weapon by suspending gas supplies via the Nord Stream 1 gas pipeline to Germany. Putin reaffirmed that Russia's argument that Western sanctions have hampered maintenance of the turbine. I don't think so. I think the Westerns are right here, are right on this one. He said that he pressed that Moscow stands ready to press the button and start pumping gas as early as tomorrow through the Nord Stream 2, not 1, 2, which has been put on hold by the German authorities. So he said, well, Nord Stream 1 has a problem, but we can start Nord Stream 2 instead, Nord Stream 2 instead. God damn. Anyway, so that's, he said, if there's a maintenance, opening that one, turning that on, and we're gonna just show you that the gas will flow. I dare you, dare you. So that's what he does. Now tell me where he scoffed, where he mocked. About Donbass, about the invasion, he told you why he invaded. And besides, remember, those guys, the Russians in the eastern Ukraine, they started separating when they said, we don't recognize the new government that took over illegally, kicking the other one out. We don't recognize that. And they said, you don't recognize us? I want to send you a few tanks. Send a few tanks, this guy met them in the middle. That's how it all started over there. Anyway, not going to go that. So, this is what he says started. And then, economy, they play sanctions. Who's hurt? Just look at the data. I'm not saying that. Look at the data. In Germany, the price for electricity jumped, what, 600% or something. Gas, the same thing, about 300%. Did such a thing happen in Russia? No. So who's hurt? Who's having, how do you call that, limitations? They can't shower. They have water only a certain time of the day. Is it Hanover or is it Moscow or St. Petersburg? Hanover. So it's just, and not only. Who turns off the electricity in the street? Russia, with the monuments and all that, or Germany? Germany. Just to mention that. And, Austria tries to put a cap and subsidize, like France and everybody else. Subsidizing meaning borrowing money from big banking companies that are waiting for this. It makes you really feel that, or think they really were part of it. All right? And they're waiting. This is how we're going to subsidize. The government is going to give us extra money so you don't pay that much. You're going to pay for that extra money that you receive right now later with interest, because they borrow the money, and then the guys are going to come, give me the money plus interest. What are you going to do? Who's going to pay? You, your children, grandchildren, and so on. What the hell? And then what? It's just, and markets, there are markets everywhere. Look what happened with the oil. Did the ruble fall? Yeah, 2 days, and then back stronger. They have to calm it down. And in the meantime, they create a new club with China and India and other countries. Economically, militarily, politically. Is that a good thing for the West? I don't think so. Did they expect that? If they did, then that means they calculated something, if you know what I mean. If they didn't think about it, that means they're weasels. And I think the second option is could be as valid as the first one. So yeah, I don't think Putin mocked anybody over there. He just said certain things that regarding the pipeline, yeah, the Nord Stream 1, I think it's a weasel move over there. But that's a war after all. You impose sanctions on me. What am I supposed to do? Just take it easy? No, I want to you up too. And I can definitely, because if Russia turns off everything tomorrow, Europe is going to be like this, and Russia is going to be still floating. Thank you very much for being with me, floating alive, not as a dead body in the water. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.